r/askreddit. What's your story that sounds like a lie, but is 100% true? My sister once stabbed my brother's arm with a pencil. In return, my brother stabbed me in the arm with a pair of scissors because my sister ran away and I was in his vicinity. Ended up getting 2 stitches. Got the SWAT team called on me and my brother when we were 9. They had 2 helicopters surrounding us and a team with guns loaded pointed at the 2 of us. What was it for? Some crazy lady complained there were armed men going on a shooting rampage. Little did she know we were 9, shooting glow-in-the-dark Nerf guns. Nice. Was it cool to see them, or were you just terrified of getting shot? I was mostly terrified. My brother and I were hiding, but they ended spotting us with the spotlight and surrounded us to find out we were only kids. When I was about 4 or 5, I always used to get a lot of colds, like pretty much every week, and my nose was running all the time, like considerably more than it would be normal for a kid my age. My mom took me to the doctor to see if there was any reason why, and he managed to find a stone wedged up my nose. He reckoned it had been up there a couple years as the nose tissue had grown around it. Apparently the best thing to do was put a drill up my nose and break the stone into pieces so it would come out. Yes, you heard that right. Put a drill up a small child's nose. So anyway, that's what happened, and to be fair, it worked. It was obviously quite scary experience given my age, however, and I still feel affected as an adult. Even to this day I'm still terrified of people putting drills up my nose. My mom hit me with her car when I was 11 and drove off. WTF. What? Is there any context to this? It was while my parents were getting a divorce. My mom leaving my dad and her 5 kids for some guy she met at work. I saw them both at a store. I was being a bratty 11-year-old because she was ruining our lives. I sat on the trunk of her car to stop her from leaving. When she reversed, I fell off the trunk and she hit me with her car, breaking my foot, and drove off with her new boyfriend, leaving me to walk home by myself. Needless to say, I've never had a good relationship with her. Many years ago I was jumped by 3 guys after coming out of a bar. Somehow I was the only one standing at the end of the fight. It was entirely a fluke, and I don't even really remember how it happened because it was over in a flash. I think one of them may have accidentally punched the other, and I must have got exceptionally lucky with my desperate swings. I suspect one of them may have slipped on some ice and hit his head on the way down. An acquaintance saw it happen from down the street, and she told the rest of my friends that I was some kind of MMA ninja, but it was truly just luck. For years I had this reputation as some kind of badass fighter, based solely on a 6-second interaction with 3 drunken idiots on a slippery sidewalk. I bet you enjoyed having that reputation. Did you get hurt at all, even slightly? Not a scratch, besides swollen knuckles from the one punch I threw that did land. And actually found out the reputation more stressful than anything. As much as I tried to downplay what happened, people just thought I was being modest. Friends thought they could rely on me as some kind of ace in the hole should situations take a bad turn, when in reality I had no idea how to fight, at least not more than your average guy. It didn't help that the acquaintance that witnessed it was both drunk and prone to dramatic exaggeration. Every time she told the story to people it got more ridiculous, like I was Aragorn fighting off a horde of Uruk-hai single-handedly. But the whole thing was like getting lucky and randomly tying a splint for a broken arm correctly once, and then everyone assuming you are a qualified doctor or a surgeon. You just walk around terrified that an actual medical emergency will arise and everyone will look to you to do something. I've given myself black eye twice. Ironically enough, it was doing the exact same thing, but years apart. I was at home and dropped something on the floor, but didn't realize how close to a door it was. I naturally bent down to try to get it and whack. I hit my face on the doorknob. Second time was the exact same thing. It always sounded like a lie, explaining to my friend and family why I had a shiner. Them thinking I was too embarrassed to say I got into a fight or something. I've done similar on tables and counter edges. I believe in Yule Mayo. I can totally believe it. A few weeks ago I dropped a guitar pick on the floor and it bounced under a stool. I got down on my hands and knees to try to pick it up from under the stool. As I reached for it, I smushed my eyeball on the corner of the stool seat. It was so freaky I could feel my eyeball concave inwards and rebound back to its normal shape. My eyelid looked lazy for a week on that side, half closed and would quiver randomly. Back in Russia, when I was 14, friends and I stumbled on an abandoned mansion in the woods outside of Moscow. We hung out there daily for a week, because nobody was there, ate their food, used the tub, watched TV, etc. We rummaged through the house and found a bunch of guns in the basement, but didn't really think much of it. Went back to the city with my mom to buy groceries and such, then came back to continue partying. On the way there, me and my friend were followed by a black Mercedes. Two men got out and screaming those other bitches started chasing us. We ran into the woods and hid under a huge log. The men ran right past us. One said that they had to find us. Another said that we were just malocusy milksuckers, aka very young, and shouldn't be much trouble. We stayed under that log for another hour to make sure they left, and we ran home, since it was mid-90s Russia. The people were Mayfair that sold weapons and saw us raiding the place on camera. Damn dude, that was a close one. Glad you made it out in one piece. When I was about 7 or 8, it was really late in the night, and I heard a dish smash in the kitchen downstairs. My bedroom was above the kitchen, and it woke me up instantly. Moments later, I could hear the door downstairs creak, and I could swear I could hear someone say my name, whispering. This freaked me out, so I snuck into my brother's bedroom and hid. I could hear footsteps coming up the stairs and hear another door creak. By this point I was crying, scared shitless. After the door creaking open sound went, it all fell silent. I stayed in my brother's room the rest of the night. Morning came. I went downstairs, did not say anything to anyone. There was no smashed glass on the kitchen floor, or anywhere for that matter, but a few weeks later I was on the kitchen cupboard and found a half-broken large glass bowl. So I either had one hell of a night terror, or I really hear someone walk up the stairs and open my bedroom door and say my name. Yeah, even after all these years it still left me scratching my brain. My brother had his own experience. This was a couple of years later, 3 or 4 years after my event. My brother was sleeping, and it must have been about 2 or 3 in the morning. He woke up to the sound of heavy breathing in his room, and he kept still. Then the next thing he felt was his bed go down, as if someone sat down on it. After a couple of minutes the heavy breathing went, and his bed went back to normal. He eventually did look, but there was nothing there. I had a similar thing last year, when I was 24. A couple of nights in a row, just after waking up I heard someone whisper my name. I just moved into a new house alone, so it really freaked me out.